Alright, so good afternoon everyone. Once again, we are thankful that you joined us here today at the ROG Xbox Ally series. And of course, we'll be having a quick Q&A session for today. We actually asked you guys to submit questions and we've received a lot of really good questions. And we will try to answer them as best as we can. But of course, you can also ask us more questions later on. Pwede nyo akong hanapin around Apoteca Manila. And also, if you guys have follow-up questions, I'll also be happy to answer them as well. So, without further ado, let's start with the first question. So, again, these questions are sent over to us by you. So if you see your question here, ayun, thank you for sending us your questions. And the first one is, actually marami nagtanong nito, but given it's an Xbox partnership, can we still install and play games from Steam, Epic Games, Battle.net, basically third-party game launchers? Of course you can. So the ROG Xbox Ally runs on the full Windows 11 OS, so that means any game that runs on Windows 11, you can install it on the ROG Xbox Ally series. And of course, with the new Xbox full screen experience, you can access these games directly from the ROG, or rather the Xbox user interface. Next question. Can I log into my Xbox account and sync my games or achievements? Yes. So most Xbox Play Anywhere titles should seamlessly support the cloud saves, so you get your progress from your console games on your PC, and yeah, basically you can sync your games and your progress. Next question. Can I connect the ROG Xbox Ally to an external monitor or a keyboard and mouse? The answer is over there. So it supports external monitors. You can use a display port via USB-C cable, or you can connect keyboard, mouse, or other accessories via Type-C, via dongles, or via Bluetooth as well. What dock would you recommend to use on the ROG Xbox Ally? Hindi naman tayo brand agnostic. Or rather we are brand agnostic, sorry. Any 130 watt capable USB Type-C dock, and of course, preferably with display out via DisplayPort or HDMI. Of course, this is only the recommended because it does have to power other peripherals as well. But if you're using an unpowered USB Type-C dock, okay lang din naman yun. But this is our recommended spec for your Type-C dock. Does the ROG Xbox Ally support Xbox controllers? Of course. So it's compatible with basically any controller that is compatible with the PC. So it's an Xbox 360 controller, ROG Raikiri series of controllers, and other compatible game brands. Can I upgrade or expand storage? And is expandable storage supported? Yes. So the SSD slot is a 2280 MW with PCIe Gen 4. So you can basically take any 2280, which is the standard size of for an M.2 SSD. You can take any one of those and upgrade your ROG Xbox Ally. And then for the expandable storage, you can either use maybe an external SSD, flash drive, or you can also use a UHS-2 micro SD card as well para mas seamless yung extra storage. Can I still customize lighting, performance modes, or fan curves? Yes, because we are not getting rid of our Armor Crate SE. In fact, it's our main settings hub for any kind of performance, the customization, nandiyan yung RGB lighting, key mapping, if you want to map keyboard controls to your gamepad, nandiyan siya lahat. Can you specifically allocate RAM as GPU VRAM for the ROG Xbox Ally? Ayan, pumapalakpak ko yung nagtanong. Ayan. Yes. So, in Armoury Crate SE, you can go to Performance, GPU Settings, and you can allocate VRAM manually up to 16 gigabytes on Xbox Ally X and up to 8 gigabytes on Xbox Ally. So if you have any VRAM heavy games, you can tweak your VRAM settings depending on what device you have. What are the key hardware differences between the ROG Xbox Ally X and the original ROG Ally? To answer that question, let me bring back this slide. Ayan. So this is just showing all of the improvements from the original ROG Ally up to the current 2025 ROG Xbox Ally series. So notable improvements include, of course, the console experience. We now have the native Xbox UI, and also physically we have also the Xbox controller inspired chassis and controls. Long battery life, improved efficiency. So the ROG Xbox Ally comes with 60 watt-hour battery, and then of course the Xbox Ally X comes with 80 watt-hours, and then the processors themselves are also more power efficient compared to the previous generation. And then for the techie guys, we also increased the TDP cap, so that is the amount of power that the processor can use from 30 watts to 35 watts on the Xbox Ally X. So that gives you more performance without needing to tweak for manual operating modes. What processor and GPU configurations are used in each model, and how do they impact gaming performance? So I slightly modified the slide from the product launch video. Okay? So you guys can see a little bit more of the technical specifications for each processor. So for the Ryzen ZA, it's a 4-core 8-thread processor, and then it has an AMD RDNA 2 GPU with 8 cores. So it's basically tuned to provide smooth 720p gameplay and improve battery life. So personally, I've been getting around close to double the battery life. And if you check actually the Xbox Ally, it can go as low as 4 watts on the APU. So if you have like a quick 2D game that you want to play, 2D side scroller for example, that doesn't need that much horsepower, so you can set it to 4 watts. Basically game all day on that 60 watt-hour battery. And of course, there are also performance improvement as well. So up to 20% better performance measured on Hollow Knight, Silksong, Silent, and Forza Horizon 5 performance. So for ROG Xbox Ally X, so it has the Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme. It's an 8-core 16-thread processor with the RDNA 3.5 GPU, 16 cores. So basically, this is for 1080p or for more intensive games, 900p smooth gameplay. And it also features up to 2 times more battery life compared to the ROG Ally X, which is the one we launched in 2024. I think the one who asked this question knows who he is, but The AMD Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme seems to perform better on lower TDP settings versus the Z1 Extreme. Will there also be an improvement on higher TDP settings versus the Z1 Extreme? This is a very techy question, but I will try to answer it as simple as possible. So yes, there will be improvements, and we actually have metrics for games that we tested this on. So we have Cyberpunk 2077 with these particular settings, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider as well. So as you can see, tama naman, at lower wattages, there is a big improvement. In fact, that's one of the improvements of the Z2 Extreme. But also, there are still improvements at higher TDPs, and in particular, since it's pushing 35 watts, you get that extra performance as well. So of course, these are still the initial GPU drivers for AMD, and of course, we'll be seeing some more improvements as they tweak their drivers further. So, hintay lang tayo on this space. There will definitely be some performance optimizations. I like this question very much kasi nag-enjoy ako sa paggawa ng slice nito. So how does thermal throttling behavior compare between dock and handheld modes? Kung nakikita niyo siya doon, it's basically minimal to none. So I actually tested this just last night. I could max it out on benchmark test, like a burn GPU and CPU burn test at 77 degrees, 35 watts plug. So that is the same whether it's docked or just charging. And then also, it does have a lower default TDP when it is unplugged. So that's 25 watts turbo profile, 66 degrees. So there's basically no thermal throttling. If ever man, very minimal. And then you can actually still use the 35 watt TDP if you want. When you're unplugged, you can of course tweak the fan curves using custom operating mode profile, or rather manual operating mode profile. How does the Xbox Ally's display compare to the ROG Ally and Ally X? Similar. So they still both feature the 7-inch Full HD 120Hz display, still 100 sRGB, still with Gorilla Glass Victus, DXC coating, 500 nits brightness, and 360 Premium or VRR support. So basically, the display and the gaming experience you will have is very similar. What are the thermal design improvements in the ROG Xbox Ally X compared to the first generation Ally? And how does the cooling system work to maintain performance during extended gameplay? So let me just show you, instead of talking about graphs and numbers. We do have larger fans, so they are now 8mm fans, and we have 77 fan blades. So that gives around 15% better airflow compared to the cooling system on last year's ROG Ally X. And then we also have larger fan cutouts. So these are cutouts on the fan shroud. So this redirects air in between the motherboard and the display. And then it exhausts out of the third vent, which is on both the ROG Xbox Ally and the Xbox Ally X. So this gives you a better cooler experience when operating the device using the game controls, and of course the touchscreen, because it's also being directly cooled by the airflow. And then to keep dust away from the cooling system, to keep it operating efficiently as possible, we also include dust covers on both air intakes. And of course, just to add, because this is still the 360 thermal cooling solution, so this still works whether you're playing upside down on your side or whether it's docked in a desk. So basically, this thermal system is designed to work whatever the device orientation, which is very important for any kind of handheld. Does the partnership between Xbox and ROG go beyond adding the branding and using the Xbox full screen experience as the main UI? So let me just show you guys some of the non-user interface improvements that were made to the Xbox Ally series. So first off, of course, the Xbox inspired controls, which is basically an Ally plus an Xbox controller. If you look at it, it's basically the Xbox controller with the ROG Ally screen in the middle. So we cannot use that design unless we partner with Xbox. And of course, if you've ever used an Xbox controller, it's very ergonomic. It's very comfortable to use. And then the next one is the impulse triggers. So the impulse triggers are an extra set of haptic feedback vibration motors on the ROG Xbox Ally X. So this feature is on the Xbox Ally X only. So it gives you detailed feedback on certain games that support the impulse triggers, and this is actually also a feature that is found on the Xbox controllers as well. And then on the software side naman, aside from the Xbox full screen experience, we also work with them to integrate the command center from Armory Crate SE, so that you don't have to have a separate command center app or go through the ACSE app just to change your TDP profiles or performance profiles. So there are also other quick options there as well. You can change the resolution, change the brightness, volume. You can turn on certain features like fluid motion frames directly from this command center. And then lastly, this is also something that we worked on with Microsoft, which is the handheld compatibility program. So basically, Microsoft is testing games and they are ranking them based on their compatibility with handheld gaming devices like the ROG Xbox Ally series. So right now we have handheld optimized, mostly compatible, which means if it's handheld optimized, you can just install the game and it will work on the default settings. If it's mostly compatible, maybe you can tweak some of the graphics, maybe you need to change it from keyboard controls to gamepad controls. And if it's unsupported, self-explanatory, it's not going to be optimized experience. And there are also some untested games as well. So they're still working on filling up their library of handheld compatibility lists. And you can see it on the Xbox app. So makikita nyo dyan, if it's handheld optimized, it will basically let you know that it's optimized for your device. This is not just for Xbox Ally, but also for Xbox Ally X, and it actually changes the status based on your device specs as well. So for example, if you have the ROG Xbox Ally, you can find games that are optimized for that, and if you have the ROG Xbox Ally X, you can have games that can take advantage of the extra performance. Hot question. When is the rollout of the new Xbox full screen experience outside of the Insider program? And is it going to be locked to PC Game Pass users? So it will come out upon the launch of the ROG Xbox Ally series, and that they will be the first devices to feature this Xbox full screen experience. And you don't need a PC Game Pass subscription, of course. You can use this user interface regardless if you have PC Game Pass or not. And another hot question, ang dami nagtanong ito. When will it be available on other Windows 11 handhelds? It depends. So, of course, mauuna si Xbox Ally series, and then the ROG Ally and the ROG Ally X will follow, and then it will start coming to the other Windows 11 handhelds around next year. Yan lang po ang ibibigay ko sa inyo so far. As for the timelines for other brands and other devices, syempre, hindi namin mabibigay yun. But we are happy to let you know that the Xbox experience will also be available on the original Ally and the ROG Ally X. Yan, so that concludes the Q&A that you guys sent us in advance. And if you guys have any further questions that were not answered earlier, so you can ask them right now. If you have any other comments, questions, concerns, violent reactions.
Hi, good afternoon, Daddy Player One. So, given the state of the internet in the Philippines, how do you recommend on how can we utilize the cloud computing feature of ROG Xbox Ally series?
Alright, so for cloud gaming, we recommend still a fast connection. So I would say a minimum of 25 to 50 megabit for a standard experience. And it's still right now mostly either a home or siguro at minimum a stable 5G connection for full HD. Yeah. So any other questions po? Do you guys have any questions? If none come to mind just yet, pati nyo naman akong kapulin, we'll all be here in the same place a little later. Ayan, so if you guys don't have any more questions or can't think of any questions right now, so that concludes the Q&A for today. Again, thank you so much for being here with us.
All right, thank you so much again. Let's give it up for our Tech PR and Nikko. Now,